Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to La Costa Canyon High School in beautiful Carlsbad, California. At this time, I'd like to send you down to the field where Chris Malone is standing with Nick Adler.
We'd like to welcome you to day number 2 of the SLC Conference Tournament. Today we'll be having our semifinals for our Division II teams. First game up would be Concordia University against NAU, and I'm joined here right now by NAU's head coach, Coach Adler. Coach, thanks for stopping by. On the season, you guys are 8-4, 4-1 in the division. Right, you've been in this position before. You were here last year. What's been the mindset? What have you been preaching to the guys this week, getting ready for this game against the number 2 team in the country?
Just to pretty much keep their heads straight and to play their game. I mean, we know we can hang with these guys. We've proven it. We've hung with all the other top teams. Even the D1 teams that we played this year, we hung with them. So it's just play your game and play smart.
It's always a great message, right? Do what we do, right? Just worry about ourselves. I like it. My next question is going to be, if there's one area, you know, whether it's something that Concordia does well or it's something that you guys maybe has been a weakness of your team throughout the year, if there's one thing that you feel like if you do that one area well, it will give you a great opportunity to win this game today.
Pretty much we got to finish. We haven't been able to finish some of the games this year. We've been ahead in a couple of them and given them up in the third and fourth quarter. So as long as we keep our heads in the game and we don't let anybody get into our heads, we'll finish the game and we should be right there.
Got to shoot well. Every coach says it. Every coach, right? When you lose, we didn't shoot well, right? So good luck today. You know, thanks for stopping by and congratulations getting to this point. And, you know, once again, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Okay. And we heard this afternoon for the first round matchup, the Southwestern Lacrosse Conference Division II championships featuring Concordia University and Northern Arizona University. Now back down to the field with Chris.
Welcome back. We're joined here now by Coach Brent of Concordia University, the number 2 team in the MCLA. Coach, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. I'm not going to lie, I haven't watched you guys play this season, so I'm really looking forward to the game today. So apologies there. I missed your game against Fullerton this year that we broadcasted on the SLC Game of the Week. Tell me a little bit about your team. You know, we got fans checking in from all over the country, if not the world. You know, fill us in a little bit about, you know, what do you guys do well? What separates you? You know, you're number 2, you're 12-0. What separates you guys from everyone else in the SLC?
You know, we're just a team that prides ourselves on outworking the other team and, you know, playing with a lot of pace. So, you know, we do that in practice every single day. It's quick whistles, you know, left and right, tons of transition. You know, as a coach, I'm coming from the West Coast and growing up out here, you know, that was always the way that I started playing. So I thought it would be fun to bring that sort of like Oregon tempo, so, you know, that kind of thing out here. And so that's kind of our identity. You know, we pride ourselves in winning the individual matchup or, you know, outworking the guy across from us. You know, we think that we have, you know, the best starting lineup out here, and, you know, we expect our guys to prove it every single play.
Perfect. Up tempo, right, and a strong work ethic, right? Good attitude that gets you. They'll take you, you know, pretty far in life. Not, you know, it should, right? Next question I have is if there's one key. You know, you've talked about being up tempo. You've talked about outworking your opponent. But if there's an area of the game that you would like to make sure your guys do well today, what's that one area that you're trying to make sure that you've been preaching this week to make sure, hey, we got to pick it up in this spot for us to, you know, move on and get to where we want to be?
You know, it all starts with our, you know, finishing our shots. I think, you know, you'll see it one way or the other, but we're going to get a lot of shots on goal. The question is, are we going to be focused and are we going to finish those shots? You know, in the games where we've struggled, you know, we've outshot the other team by, you know, 20, 30 points, or sorry, 20, 30 shots. We're still beating them by 2-3 goals. So, you know, we can't let a team like this hang around because they're very dangerous, and, you know, that's going to start with finishing our opportunities when we get them.
Yeah, you know, that's something a lot of coaches talk about, right? Shooting the ball well, and it's not just, you know, it's not just putting it on cage. It's putting it in a good spot, you know, and be accurate. And Well, hopefully your guys do that for you today. All right, and thanks for stopping by. Good luck, and you know, I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what you guys can do.
Appreciate it, man. All right, take care.
Thanks.
Hello, everyone. I'm Pete Ginniger, and I'll be alongside Chris Malone, calling the play-by-play today. Concordia University, number 2 in the nation, national runner-ups from last year, going up against Northern Arizona University. Concordia 12-0 this season, so far 5-0 in the division. Northern Arizona 8-4 on the year and 4-1 on the division. Should be a great matchup today. Two very physical teams. We're off for a while.
She's texting me. I can't find her. They usually have enough time afterwards that you could just go get it. Whatever you want. You're like,
I'm sweating bullets out right now. I'm so nervous.
no, I'll go. I got babysitters now. Tina! I guess you're not here yet.
The SLC Conference Playoffs, day number 2. I'm Chris Malone, joined by Coach Pete. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Oh, great to be here again. Great to be here again. If today's any indication, or last night was any indication of what's going to happen here today, just a great day of lacrosse here.
We're in a good place, huh?
It was fantastic here last night. 2 really good games. Some great exhibitions of lacrosse last night.
Yeah, well, we have number 2, right? Number 2, nationally ranked number 2 Concordia University taking on Northern Arizona University in our first semifinal game. And this is our SLC Division 2 semifinals today. Game number 2 will be University of San Diego taking on Cal State Fullerton. So here we go. Good action from the start. Good face-off win by Concordia, and they're going to push it. Right, and there's your first goal of the game.
11 seconds in.
Right, Coach Brent, we just talked to him pregame. I mean, he talked about his team plays fast. And that's number 21, Brandon Mayo. He's a freshman for Concordia with the finish. And I have a feeling, we're going to see a lot of up-tempo. So for anyone checking in with us right now, Concordia is going to push it and push it and push it. They kind of have the motto, hey, we might not stop you, but we'll outscore you.
Oh, absolutely. And NAU's face-off guy, Sean Mastro, has had a great year. He's one of the best face-off guys I've seen all year in Division I or Division II.
And there you go. I mean, won that one pretty cleanly.
And NAU will come at you in spurts. You know, they go hot and cold, and that's the first flag of the game.
Yeah, look, they're here for a reason, right? You know, they went 4-1 in the division. It's not like, in NAU's mind, it doesn't matter what Concordia is ranked. You know, they don't care. They're you know, you heard Coach Adler talk about, hey, we're going to do what we do, right?
Absolutely.
And that's what we're going to focus on.
You know, look, they're a good team. You know, we'll talk in a little bit about just the rise of Division II in terms of talent. I mean, it's not what it was 3 or 4 years ago. You know, it's extensively better.
No question about it. I mean, it's just the sport's growing, right? Which is going to allow.
I mean, the growth of the high schools and the high schools have just been phenomenal, especially here in California, and it's definitely filtering into the college game.
CONCORDIA.
Here's the NAU. They start out in a 2-3-1. I like to count from up top. Coach Pete, I don't know if you count from behind.
I'm a bottom guy, but
you're a bottom guy, so that could be a little confusing today. So I count
I'll
from
let
up
you
top.
make that call.
Restrain line. Start from the restrain line. Work your way to the end line. So now they're in a 2-3-1. See what they can do here. I mean, if you're looking for an opportunity to tie the game up, I mean, there's nothing like having a man-up advantage after giving up an early goal. Still in that 2-3-1, kind of just guys are cutting in and cutting off. Good skip pass up top.
A good look
nice
up
shot.
top.
Yeah, nice shot by Mastro. Not bad.
And there's a goal.
Well, that's just one of those like, hey, look what I found. Right? Hey, look what just showed up on my front doorstep.
The crease, and he just happened to be on the backside. And
right.
Hey, I'll tell you what, whatever it takes.
Yeah, that's a goal by Kyle Kohler. All right. Kyle's a midfielder from Newberry Park, California.
Number 19, Kyle Kohler.
And here we are, 1-1.
And again,
so these face-offs are going to be important.
And again, like I said, we played them this year at Claremont, and and we lost 18-17 in overtime. And the reason we lost was because of Sean Mastro. He just dominated the face-off X.
Yeah, and that's going to be key. I mean, today, he goes early there. He's lost 2 out of 3. But we'll see. We'll keep our eyes on that stat, that area today. Because I have a feeling if the score's tight, it's because Masters winning faceoffs. So, wow, that's a great shot right there by number 1, Robert Romario. That's his 24th goal of the year. Made it look simple. I mean, the shot's not that simple. That was a nice little low to high. But it looks like he's obviously worked on that shot. It was pretty smooth.
Oh, absolutely. And again, Concordia, their success is just built on their skill, obviously, but they look like a Division I program. And if you look at their scores this year, they've beaten handily Division I programs. I mean, so, they're game ready. They're tested.
They got big guys on this team. When I was down there on the field, that's the first thing that I noticed was how big their guys are. Number 33, he's one of their captains, a big boy. And there's Mayo right there off of GB. That's his second of the game, finishing on that lefty side. That reminds me kind of, a play like that reminds me, you would appreciate this, kind of like the Syracuse days back in the 80s when I always felt like their best offense is almost when the ball is on the ground because they swarm it, they pick it up. It's almost like, hey, let's get the ball on the ground and then go from there. That's just one of those.
I mean, the days of the Gate brothers.
Yeah.
The days of the Gates.
But, the key there is pick it up and move it. A lot of kids would pick that ground ball up.
And right now, Concordia just dominating the faceoffs, which is surprising to me. But
yeah, they won 4 out of 5. So Masters going to have to figure that out. And they got to really figure out how to stop this offense from Concordia. There's number 11, Dylan Bernard. Bernard. He actually ended up being the SLC Division II Offensive Player of the Year.
That shows why. But again, this game will settle in. Right now, I think there's this value the ball and take some time off the clock and really just make Concordia play some defense. Right now, Concordia is playing all offense.
Right. Well, I always talk about, use the analogy of like, how do you beat Tom Brady? Well, you keep Tom Brady on the bench.
Well, exactly.
Right?
And you keep their offense off the field.
Exactly.
So
unforced turnover there by NAU and Concordia. This is kind of our first look at their offense. But they go right away. I mean, they're
nice double right there by Mastro.
And that's a stop. That's the first stop for the NAU defense. That should be a confidence
and that'll be,
booster.
I was say, that's good for their confidence. They can build on that. And again, if they can shut down the fast break scenarios,
I agree.
Concordia, this game will settle in.
Keep it a 6-on-6 game. Keep it 6-on-6. Stay out of the penalty box. Compete on the face-offs. And they need a good possession here. Here comes a double. Mastro gets out of it. Finds his guy. Great save. Great save by Fernando. That's his first of the game.
All right, NAU maintains possession.
Yeah, that goes back to the stick checks. It's like you throw an over the head check. If you don't land it, you're almost like, all right, I'm either going to land this check or I'm going to let you shoot it.
Well, it's do or die. I mean,
right.
You live and die by that kind of check.
Yeah,
again, if you get it, it looks great, and the coach is clapping. If you don't get it, the coach he's stomping his feet.
Right. I'm a conservative defensive coach.
I'm old school. I'm just old, but.
So does that mean you like the takeaways?
I do.
Because there's more takeaways back in the 80s than there were, than there are now.
The game's evolved a little bit.
Equipment's different.
Yeah.
Makes it a little
technology's
bit more
a little different.
Yeah. Well, this is a good possession right here.
Yeah, and
they've
NAU
settled
just
down.
Settles in. Yeah.
Yeah, they've settled down like you said.
Working the ball at X.
Nice save there. This is the second save of the game. I think you need to just get a little higher on the above goal line extended there. Shot that about 1 yard above the goal line. You need, they always talk about 5 and 5, right?
Yeah, getting to the 5 and 5. I talk about that at practice every day.
Man, Mayo, great save!
Save.
Great save by Liam Burrell. It's his first of the game, and they needed that one.
And again, every success they have is going to build on their confidence as this game goes on, and get those opening game jitters out of their system. They're doing a nice job on the transition.
Yeah, Coach Adler said his team's been able to compete with everybody on their schedule this year. That's the one thing he's really been proud of with his guys, whether win or lose. He's like, we've competed in every game, and so he expects to see that today.
It's the unforced errors, the turnovers, and again, Concordia is so good on the transition. They're pushing the pace every chance they get.
Oh yeah. Look, a lot easier to score 4-on-4 than 6-on-6, right? Yeah, and that's number 11, Dylan Bernard, with his second of the game, 39th of the year.
Concordia, number 11, Dylan Bernard.
Dylan Bernard. Thank you. Bernard. Like we said, he just got nominated as the Offensive Player of the Year for the SLC Division II.
In a lot of ways, watching this game and watching the way Concordia plays reminds me last night of watching Grand Canyon play. Very freewheeling, upbeat, push the transition. A very nice hit there.
Look, I had some teams. I was the same way at ASU. I mean, I know my first year, we just wanted to score goals.
Right.
We just wanted to score goals. We didn't care about how many goals we gave up. We wanted to get to 15. And so every coach, going into the season, you figure out what you have.
I mean, if
and then
you
figure out how you're going to go.
If you've got the guns for it, that's a great way to go. It's a great
fun.
tool. Yeah,
it's fun.
Look, when you can play upbeat and you can push transition,
it's fun.
And the players love it.
Yeah. And if you're a Concordia attackman right now, you know that you're going to just have opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. So you don't have to be a black hole, as they would say, and hold on to it longer than you should sometimes, because you know you're just going to get so many opportunities with the style that you play.
Right.
So there's no need to be selfish, right? And that's what happens, I think, sometimes when you play it pretty slow. Sometimes, there's attack when they might force something because they don't know when they're going to get another opportunity to make a play.
Right. They get a little bit impatient.
Yep.
And you never know when you're going to get that chance. You're right. But again, Concordia reminds me of when you watch NCAA Division I ball, watching Albany when they had the Thompsons, just freewheeling.
Right.
When you talk to Coach, Coach Marr talked about it. There's another goal, Concordia.
It's number 14. And I'm going to probably botch this name, but I'm going to go Savdra. I'm just going to say Savdra. Coach, what are you thinking?
I'm saying Savidra.
Savidra, that works. It's his first of the game.
Concordia goal by number 14.
It's the 6th of the quarter for Concordia. I like that name, Savidra. He's from Lake Forest, so not too far from home here.
And NAU not taking a timeout yet. I think, in some ways I can appreciate what he's doing. Just letting the players figure this out on
Fight
their
through
own,
it.
play through it.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot you could say in this first timeout except, hey, we got to take care of the ball better on the offensive end and really cut down on the transitions.
On Northern Arizona.
Yeah, I'm a big – I kind of have a rule. I mean, it's not written in stone, but it's like, you give up three in a row. You almost just call a timeout to stop the momentum, right? You might not even say anything in the huddle.
No, it's
right?
just change the tempo for a little bit.
Take a deep breath. Hey, we're going to come into this huddle and just breathe.
And there are other coaches that feel like if I call a timeout early in the game, it shows that we're scared. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think there's a time and a place for a timeout. There's good timeouts. There's bad timeouts.
No question. It's the keys to use them wisely. I'm actually surprised NAU has not called a timeout. So we'll see if that pays off for them. We're 6:40 left to go in the first quarter. If you're just joining us, 6-1 Concordia over at Northern Arizona University. This is our SLC Division II first semifinal game of the day. We have the University of San Diego taking on Cal State Fullerton roughly 45 minutes after this game ends.
And I'm looking at the roster for Concordia. It's all local except for they have one player from Oregon. This is a locally built program.
Hey, Orange County, Irvine's a nice place.
Orange County, San Diego. I mean, it's 90% Orange County.
It's a nice place. Coach Brent's done a great job building this program. Concordia won the SLC tournament last year, the national runner-up. It's an attractive place to go. I'm not too familiar with them. I don't get a chance to see them play.
I honestly, at Claremont, we've never played them in regular
Sure.
season. We played them once or twice in some fall tournaments a number of years ago when they were just building. So this is really impressive to me to see what they've built here over the last number of years.
Yeah.
But again, I think it goes along with the growth of Division II lacrosse in the MCLA and the SLC.
Sure. Sure. Wow.
Nice
great
save by NAU. He's checking his ears.
Yeah, I was going to talk about Brandon Mayo. I actually coached Brandon one summer on a travel team, club team, and I mean he was getting NCAA Division I looks. He's a phenomenal player. He made, I believe, he's second team all conference this season, and he made the all freshman team. And he's got 2 goals already. He's probably taken five or six shots. He's got the ball right now. I mean he's a player, and Coach Brent was able to get him to come to Concordia. I mean, that shows a lot right there. Nice save again by Durrell. It's his 3rd save of the game, and he's calm. If you're a goalie, give me shots I can save. These are shots you can save. Concordia's has some goals on the doorstep, which obviously hard for any goalie.
And again, for any team, for goalies, when you're shooting stick to stick, high to high, as long as they can see it, they've got a pretty good chance of making that save. It's when you get a little bit technical with them and you're going high to low, low to high, making that goalie have to make a decision. You're going to have greater success. And there's a flag down.
Yep, that's going to be a trip.
Concordia's got a freebie here.
And this is a time where you don't have to rush it. and you don't have to take a shot that you normally wouldn't take.
No, I mean,
Yep.
you got just under 4 minutes left in the quarter. You're up 5 goals here in the first quarter. Take what you get. Again, I'm a coach. I would question that shot a little bit, but
Yeah,
But again, I'm
agree.
as a player, you got an opportunity. You certainly want to take it.
I just see, teams, whether it's collegiate or at the high school level, they see flag down. It's like, oh, I can do whatever I want, And no, don't still run the offense, right? And if it's a 1 minute penalty, right? If it's a slash, you go man up on the face-off if you score, right?
I think a lot of teams make the mistake. The flag goes down. You hear them go to goal, go to goal.
Right.
Cross. 1 minute. Blue 6. Cross. 1 minute.
Why not take your time, especially with the new rules? Where even if the ball goes down, you pick it up, you still maintain possession.
Exactly.
Take your time and work for something good. Work for a
Quality
great shot. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's gonna be a cross check on number 6, Racy for NAU, and this is gonna be our first look at Concordia's man up. They're starting a 1-4-1, moving the ball around the perimeter, reading the defense as they do that. I think a lot of guys don't understand, why do we move the ball around? Well, one reason is to get a feel for what they're doing. What kind of rotation are they in?
The defense and again, on man up, really what you're trying to do is you're trying to have the team on defense, the man down team, basically run out of slides. You have nowhere else to go.
Move the ball faster than they can move their feet.
Again, if you run a wheel on a man up, eventually there's no slides left.
Yeah, and you move the ball around the perimeter, make the defense move their heads. I see some teams, they never get that ball behind. It's always coming back up top, so the defenders don't have to move their heads. That's good ball movement right here. Right, great job by Bernade. Right, good job by Bernade right there to get his third of the game. What happened there? Defender just takes a bad angle, right?
Right.
And he muscles his way through it.
And again, as they wheel up from behind, you eventually have nowhere else to slide.
Right.
So then you've got to come across and do a coma slide and try to get there on time.
And you're not. If you're
Chances
not
are
on
you're
time, like you're saying, right? If that ball moves faster than the feet.
The ball's going to move faster than you can.
Right. And it's Bernard did a good job of recognizing that the slide was coming at a bad angle. Some guys, younger players would kind of fade away from that contact and just move the ball on, where he embraced the contact and took advantage of it. Concordia with another face-off win. That's their 7th win of the quarter. And here's Mayo with a cannon with his left hand. Mayo's got 3. That's another one of those. Hey, look what I found. Right, feed wasn't necessarily tool. That happens a lot. You feed the crease and it sneaks all the way through to the guy on the wing.
And again, you always tell your players, be aware, because if it slips through, you're going to pick up pick up the trash, whatever you want to call it. But it's a great opportunity, and now NAU does call the timeout.
Right, there's your timeout. Right, so it's 8-1, 2:31 left to go in this first quarter. Our first semifinal Division II, SLC Division II game of the day. We're going to take a short break here, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Concordia is up 8-1 here in the first quarter of our first semifinal SLC Division II game. 2:31 to go in the quarter, and it's been all Concordia, Coach.
Yeah, and again, coming out of that timeout, I mean, Coach Adler, as any coach would probably say, fellas, keep your composure. It's a long game. Let's not panic. But we just got to do some things better. Yeah, I mean, we got to protect the ball a little bit better. Defensively, we got to slide a little better. But look, they're in the game. They're trying to be competitive. And again, this game reminds me yesterday of the Chapman Arizona State game in the first quarter.
Sure.
Very similar.
Look, this game is far from over. I remember my first year at Arizona State in 2008. We're actually in the national semifinal game against Chapman. We're up 7-0 at one point, and we ended up losing that game 18-15. So,
it's a game of runs, and we talked about this yesterday as well. If you watched the Division I game last week, North Carolina, Notre Dame.
Right. Wow.
There's another goal.
It's a great lefty shot right there by number 1, Romero. That's his second of the game. That's probably been the most impressive shot I've seen
so far today.
Just a nice on the run, about 11, 12 yards. And if you look at the goal scorers, Mayo has 3. Bernard's got 2, he has 3, and then Romero has 2, and number 14, Saavedra, Saavedra has 1. So mainly 3 goal scorers.
And again, you always hear people talk about lacrosse being a game of runs. Right now, Concordia has gone on a big run. And again, second quarter starts, maybe NAU comes out, gets a goal or 2, gets on a run of their own. This game becomes competitive.
Sure. It's another face-off win for Concordia. That's their 10th win of the quarter. And we talked about that early on, is that if NAU's not winning face-offs, they're going to be in some trouble.
And I honestly thought going into the game that NAU that would be one of their strong points, would be at the face-off X, because Mastro has done such a good job all year on it. And again, he's coming up against the buzzsaw today.
Sure.
But, that's the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, look, I mean, some days you have a guy's number, some days you don't. And I'm sure Concordia's watched some film. Oh, and there's an overhand shot. Nice overhand shot by number 22. That's Huey, Andrew Huey, with his first goal of the game.
Concordia goal, number 22, Andrew Huey.
We have 10-1 Concordia ahead of NAU with 1:06 to go in the first quarter here.
I mean, NAU's just got to stick with it, stick with their game plan, just keep playing, fight through it. If you look at their body language now, every head is down. That's not a good sign from a coaching standpoint.
Yeah, you got to move on. Good, bad, ugly, you move on.
Yeah,
right? You got to make the next play.
There
you go.
There's a nice face-off.
Good job by Mastro. He's their guy. I mean, he's not stopping.
He's their everything. He's their everything.
And here you go. Here's a 4-on-3 fast break. No push. Thought there might be a push there. Looks like it's going to be a shot, and you will keep possession. And that started with Mastro's effort on the ground ball there, right? All of a sudden, boom, pops open to his teammate. He had a 4-on-3 break. Not sure why he didn't try to pass the ball off, try to dodge 2 Concordia players.
I think it's the emotion of the game, the excitement of the game, and you're down 9 goals here in the first quarter. You're looking for a spark, something that's going to get you motivated and moving here.
That's a great take. Lars Peterson with his first goal, and there's a flag down. We'll see what the call is.
Northern Arizona goal, number 11, Lars Peterson.
And we're talking about getting some fire here, right there. That's a spark. They take that into the second quarter. If it's a man up, if they get the face off. I didn't see what the call was.
I think the flag's going to be wiped out, so we're going to be all even. But that's the first possession they've had on offense in some time. I mean, right, I don't think of 6-7 minutes.
Well, and yeah, I mean, where it was a nice shot. It was nice.
If they can get the ball, down the alley if they can get the ball, they can generate some shots. 10-2 here, 20 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Was it a man down face?
It is. So NAU is man up with 20 seconds to go in this quarter. This is a big face-off.
That was a big face-off for Concordia because now, NAU could have held on to the ball, gone into
Sure.
the second quarter, man
Exactly.
up.
Penalty.
Now Concordia can actually hold on to it and keep possession of the ball going into the second quarter. And that's exactly what they'll do. Ooh.
Ooh.
I don't know if he had possession
I
or
don't
not.
think he did. I think that ball was out of his stick. It was in the air at the whistle.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if Concordia starts with it here in the second quarter, if there's a face-off. But that's, know you're the rules.
That,
right?
as a coach, that's what drives you crazy. Because on the sidelines they're yelling. You can hear it from up here.
Right.
Hold on to the
Right.
ball. Hold
Yep.
on to the ball.
No question about it.
And
So
it wasn't like he was getting pressured.
No, he didn't even need to throw the ball. He didn't need to throw it, but in his mind, he's like, it's not going to hurt us if I do.
Right.
But he's walking over to the sideline going, shoot. Oh, man. Right? So, 10-2, end of the first quarter of our first SLC Division II semifinal game. We're going to take a short break here, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the SLC Division II semifinals. This is our first of two games on this cloudy Saturday. Not usual for us here in San Diego to see a lot of clouds out there, but it's still nice. This is great lacrosse weather.
It's a beautiful day here. A bad day in San Diego.
Bad day in San Diego, right? Beautiful day everywhere else.
And I guess they must have deemed that they maintain possession
They
of the
did.
ball because
They did.
they start the quarter with the ball. I would have guessed differently.
It was definitely debatable, and I think if you're an official, if you can't determine that the ball was definitely out of the player's stick, just go with that. It was
Sure.
in his stick,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely,
I think
but-
that's probably their mindset there. So if you just join us, NAU has man advantage right now with Concordia having possession at the end of the first quarter. Concordia had the ball, but the attackman threw the ball right after the clock expired, right, and the quarter ended. So Concordia starts with it here. That's why there's no face-off.
And the penalty released, and NAU didn't put much pressure on the ball.
Which I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Fourth quarter might be different. I'm fine with that.
It's a decision you make. And, yeah, I mean, look, like I said, it's an 8-goal ball game. And the last thing they want to do is give up an easy goal by trying to double.
Wow.
And there's another goal.
Wow. That is a great low to high shot
By number 11, Dylan Bernade.
by
It's his
Dylan
fourth of the
Bernade.
game.
Number
Fourth goal of the game.
fourth of the game. I mean, that's a smooth shot. It's almost like watching a golfer. You watch a golfer off the tee box, like, man, that guy's got a great swing. With watching Bernade, I mean, he has just a smooth release. His whole body's just one motion.
He's mechanically
Right.
sound on it. But again, they've scored so many goals throughout the season. It's mechanical for them at this point.
But that low to high shot, like, that's a hard shot.
It is.
There's a lot of kids that can't. They try it.
A lot of guys will shoot
Right.
that ball right over the cage.
Over the cage, wide. It might hook on him. He practices that. That's one thing I always tell players. Like, you want to take a certain shot. You want to be a guy that can go low to high and have the freedom to do that. Practice it, right? Don't just pull it out in a game.
And
when you
again,
don't normally do it.
it's like from a coaching standpoint, watching a guy throw it behind the back.
Sure.
Or
And he never does it.
And then he does it in practice. And
Right? Why'd you do it?
it's just.
Did you think it was going to work out for you? So I just like preaching. Look, you can take shots. You got to be able to shoot the ball multiple ways, but practice it, right? Let the coach give you the green light to do that. That's just a nice little tic-tac-toe there on the transition play. Number 14 ends up with his second. Here's actually number 14 with the finish, right? Saavedra, right? The assist from Bernade. Saavedra did a good job kind of coming to the ball.
Right, and again, Concordia's transition game is just phenomenal today. I mean, I know I'm old and I'm getting sort of senile. I can't count how many goals came off the transition today.
At least half.
At least half.
At least half. That's a fair bet.
And again, NAU, still trying to figure them out. What are we going to do here defensively?
Get in the hole.
Get in the hole.
Get in the hole. That's the first thing I would say. If I was the goalie, Burrell, get in, right? And that's a nice save by Burrell right there.
And he's trying to take
Well, that's what he
into
needs
his own
to do.
hands a little bit. He's got to.
Think about how tired their defense is right now. I mean, they probably played 11 to 12 minutes of defense in the first quarter.
And he's seeing a lot of rubber. He's seeing an awful lot of rubber.
I love goalies coming out and being involved in GBs. Ooh!
That's a nice shot.
That was nice.
Again, low to high.
It was low to high. And unfortunately, trying to read these numbers for NAU is not easy. Looks like it's number 30. 38, Belshin from Torrey Pines here locally. Man, if we had replays, that would be a great goal to show on a replay. Just a nice dodge from the wing. Gets his stick to the middle of the field, right? Left shot at lefty, so it sticks in the middle of the field, which increases his angle, and just went low to high with it.
No, I mean, they're showing signs of brilliantness sometimes. Again, it's just a matter of stopping the ball on the defensive side of the field here.
Yeah, they just got to get stops, right?
Burrell
helped out on the GB, and we've talked about it. They can get goals. They can score. NAU is getting legitimate shots on the majority of their offensive possessions. It really is just down here on this defensive end. Can they stop? Can they stop Concordia? And Concordia continues to keep winning faceoffs, which just makes life even harder on them.
Right. And again, defensively, stopping that fast break, slowing them down on the break, it's going to be a long afternoon if they don't stop that break.
Wow, that's number 7, Logan Perry.
His first of the game.
First of the game, 8th goal of the year.
Logan Perry.
He's a freshman from Dana Hills High School. Probably about 40 minutes away from here. Just a nice take. One thing, before he scored that goal, one thing I was thinking in my head is like, they're just coming at you with multiple bodies. Just a lot of guys.
I mean, I would say as a coach, sometimes you can say, well, let's go into a zone defense. You can't go into a zone defense until you can stop the break.
Sure.
And they're not stopping the break.
Sure.
I mean, if you go into a zone, then just naturally the game slows down offenses.
No, yeah, exactly. I mean, you're going to make Concordia probably use 20, 30 seconds.
And again, here we are on the break.
Right. Yeah, compared to 10. And here, there's that break. There you go. It's going to be an over and back. Maybe not. It's going to be a push, right? That's a play on. Not sure where the NAU attackman was right there. But that's just...
Caught him napping a little bit.
Yeah, that's just being disciplined. Right? Number 24 for Concordia, Christensen, was all over that, was aware. And unfortunately, the attackman for NAU was not.
Sean Wilson drives the alley.
Good save by Burrell again. It's his 5th of the game. You give up the right shot, Burrell can make the save.
Right now, he's just trying to lead everybody. He's got to focus in on his game a little bit. But I certainly understand he's in there. He's in panic mode right now.
Well, I think he's trying to be the energizer guy down there. We talked about Mastro kind of being their guy. Burrell's just trying to do whatever he can to, give his teammates some confidence and get a stop. Right? like once again, like you see goalies, especially in the MLL, will do that. I know Jesse Schwartzman, who's retired now from the MLL. He'll come out and be a sly guy sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to. I mean, again, you got to take matters into your own hands.
So I like Burrell's energy, because right now, I mean, you said earlier that his body language is kind of down. As a coach, it's not what you want to see. So who's going to be the guy to change that? Who's going to be the guy to fix that? And Burrell's trying to be that guy on the defensive end of the field.
Someone's got to step up and be a leader on the field right now, and he's got to be the guy.
Yeah, and Concordia, look at all these guys. There's a nice block by the defender. Gets his stick in the shooting lane, knocks the ball down. This has been a long possession from Concordia. And there's a nice save by Burrell again.
And again, as you said at the beginning of the game, Coach Adler made a statement that we've competed in every game. This is out of their nature right now. They're out of their world right now.
This is the best opponent they've played all year.
No doubt.
Look, they're ranked number 2. They're in the national runner-up last year. There's no doubt in my mind. Players that played in 2015, they have not forgotten about what happened that season and how they came up short.
Right, absolutely. And again, they're getting ready for the national tournament. There's no doubt. I mean, obviously they're going to be there.
Yeah.
And they're tuning up, and they know when they get there, the competition's going to be a lot tougher. And they're going to come up against nationally ranked teams. And
yeah, so, I mean, Coach Brent's going to be preaching, hey, just because we're the number 1 seed going into the SLC tournament doesn't mean anything. You got to improve every day. Regular season's over. These seasons now are one and done. So they're going to bring their A game. There's a save by Fernando. Hasn't seen a lot of rubber today. He does have 3 saves on the day. This is first of the quarter. And I will have to say that this quarter has, NAU has kind of settled in a little bit more than they did in the first quarter.
And it will settle in even more. But again, NAU needs some stops. NAU needs to find that energy and then find that spark that's going to get them moving.
Good take by number 10, Vasu.
His first of the game.
Unassisted, number 10, Jonathan Vasu.
Justin Vasu with his first goal of the game. He's another player from Dana Hills. When I look at this roster, you have 3 players from Dana Hills High School. And you got a bunch of El Toro players as well.
A couple kids from Lake Forest, California. I mean, this is a locally built team.
Right. You get 1 player from one high school. It's like, all right, well, hey, who's your buddy? You have anyone else that wants to come join the team with you?
Sure.
That's what I always used to say when I ever got a recruit. You have anyone else at your high school that would be interested in coming here?
But the talent that they have is also a testament to the growth of the high school game in Southern California. I mean,
Sure.
look at this roster. It's, coming from good high school programs.
So here we are, 14-3, Concordia over NAU. There's roughly about 8 minutes to go here in the second quarter. This is our first of 2 semifinal games for the SLC Division II Conference Tournament. Concordia is ranked number 2 in the country, 2015 national runner-up. They won the SLC tournament last season. NAU comes in here at 8-4. They're 4-1 in their division. They won a first-round game over San Marcos, 19-10.
I know at the end of last season, within our
Nice
league,
save.
there was a lot of talk about, should Concordia go up into the Division I level? And again, you can make the argument that they should be. I think they have some business to finish up before they think about that. But look, they can certainly compete at the Division I level. I mean, just looking at the scores against their opponents this year in Division I.
Sure, I agree. I mean, look, I was the head coach at Arizona State. You're the head coach at Claremont. We're playing Division I teams on a regular basis. There's no question this team could play in the Division I level.
I mean, they remind me of Claremont back in 2008, 2009.
Right.
We had just made the transition up from Division II to Division I. And, we were competing. I think as I just said, I think they have some unfinished business first before they make that decision.
I agree, and right now I think it's great that the MCLA kind of locks teams in. And there's a nice little garbage goal for number 28, Miles. This Dylan Miles is first of the game, 13th of the year. Sorry, that got wiped off. Wasn't sure what the call was there. Maybe a loose ball push.
But, Chris, I agree with you on the MCLA rule about the 3-year commitment
Yeah.
to your division. I think what it does is it stops teams from taking the easy way out when things aren't going so well for you.
Sure.
I mean, we had to make that decision last year.
Right.
We had a couple rough years.
Yep.
We had to make that decision. We sat down as a program and made that decision. We wanted to stay up in Division One, and we knew what it was going to take to stay there. So now we're in year one of our 3-year plan.
Right.
And so far it's worked out okay for us. We've had our ups and downs. I think there are teams out there that have that conversation at the end of each season.
No question. I mean, I think the key word that you said there is that you have a plan, right? You look at, what some Division II teams, and I'm going to go the other way. I'm not going to talk about Division I teams dropping down to Division II. I'm going to talk about Division II teams bumping up to Division I. They'll do it after they win the national tournament. Well, you didn't have time to plan, right? You didn't have time to prepare for that. You look at a program.
That's a nice goal.
That is a nice goal.
Number 38.
It's our same guy.
Second of the game.
Belshin. And just going back to that, you look at University of San Diego, who's playing in our second semifinal game. They bumped up to Division I after winning the Division II national championship, and now they've come back to Division II.
We went up the same year they did. When I got to Claremont, it was really the competition in the Division II was between San Diego and us. And then, we both went to the national tournament that year. They won it. We came in fourth.
Okay.
But we had made the decision before the tournament to go up based on the caliber of play, based on our history. And, again, for us it made sense to stay up now. But every team is different. Every team has a philosophy.
Sure.
But, again, you're right. You have to have a plan on where you want to go.
Right. Look at Montana, right? They won it back in 2009, 2010, and you haven't heard from them since.
Right.
Because they bumped up to Division I. So either way, whether you're thinking about bumping down or bumping up or whatever change you're looking to make, I think it's just great that you get to think about it for 3 years. And if you want to make that, whatever decision you want to make, you can plan for it.
Well, at the end, like we have 2 more years in our plan. At the end of those 2 years, we'll sit down again as a program and figure out, where do we want to be. I think every team needs to do that.
And it's something you probably should start thinking about during next season.
I think about it every day.
Yeah, it's not every day. Where are we going to be in 2018? Where are we going to be in 2020?
I mean, but I look in our league in Division I. I mean, Loyola Marymount. They had a rough year. They came off a rough year last year. They had some internal problems, and they fixed those problems, and they had a rough year on the field. I know they were contemplating maybe going down. I think you have to kind of ride it out, and let things solidify.
I think LMU can be a good program.
LMU
They've
has
been
been
there.
a good program.
I mean, look back, Coach Fry, right? When Coach Fry was the head coach, he's now the head coach at Ferrum. They made it. They made it to the SLC Division I semifinals. I mean, they had some good players on that team. I want to say it was 2009 when they got there, and even back in 2010, I think they did pretty well. So you just can't base a decision off one season.
And I think as a coach, sometimes you've got to take your ego out of the equation and look at the pure facts of your school and look at, the bottom line is Loyola's going to get better players in years to come. Next year, they'll get better players.
Recruit.
It's all cyclical. It goes up, what goes around, comes around, and they will have better players. I have no doubt in my mind. In another 2-3 years, they'll be up there again.
They got a brand new turf field on the campus, right?
They've got all the
good
tools
facilities, good school. I mean, look, if Santa Barbara can do well, if Cal Poly can do well, USC. Coach Gettleman had a great year with USC this year.
I think they're the most improved program in our league.
Yeah.
And again, I think the importance of consistency in coaching. That teams don't go one and done with a coach. LMU has a new coach.
Right.
They have to give him the chance to build a program and have patience in him and believe in his system and buy into his system.
That takes time.
And it takes time, and it's showing that coach you have the confidence in him to build a program, or else why would you have hired him in the first place?
Right. So patience.
Patience is the key.
It's a great word to use.
I mean, we sit in our league meetings, and it's been a little better in the last couple of years, but the coaching turnover was phenomenal. For certain reasons, different reasons. Sometimes coaches, their personal situations change and they can't stay in the program any longer. In other cases, teams don't give their coaches enough time to do what they need to do.
Sure. Sure.
So it's always very interesting to me. And as Matt and I were talking yesterday, I've been around the MCLA now and the SLC and the WCLL for years.
Yep.
I mean, and I made the transition back into it from a Division I, NCAA Division I system.
Yep.
But it really just, it's a long haul, and I think
it's a journey.
You got to buy into it.
No question. So we'll see. We'll see, right, in 2 more seasons what Concordia ends up doing. We're at 4:30 to go here in the second quarter. It's 15-4 Concordia, looking to make it 16-4. Nice block again by the defender. Seen that a couple times today. Concordia's really obviously controlled this game. I'll use the word controlled. Winning a majority of the face-offs, right, and literally breathing down the neck of the NAU defense on a consistent basis with a number of players. Probably have 3 or 4 guys right now that have at least 2 goals. Definitely know of 3, if not 4. And Burrell's he's doing a good job this quarter, making some saves.
Oh, he's nothing to hang his head about.
That's his 5th save of the quarter. That's his 8th of the game. And he's really been the Energizer Bunny of this second quarter for NAU. But it has not been easy. Concordia just has a number of guys, and you're seeing some new players out there now.
I mean, their depth is incredible in terms of just wave after wave of guys.
It's a big roster. I mean, take number 33, for instance. There's some big guys on this team. Up and down, defense to attack. And you mentioned, I mean, they do look like a MCLA Division I program. And I like to think that, today they should obviously get this W, and I know it's only the second quarter, but I feel pretty confident about that comment. And tomorrow,
I would disagree.
Right, and then tomorrow we'll see what happens.
I think
they're going to be a tough team to beat. It's essentially what I'm saying. They're just going to be a tough team to beat. They got a great attack unit.
San Diego's a good team. Fullerton's a good team.
Yep.
I mean,
2:35 to go here in the second quarter. Concordia slowing it down a little bit with some new bodies on the field. Oh, nice play right there. We don't anticipate it. They're going to compete here for the GB. There's going to be a hold play on somewhere. I think it's a hold on.
I think it's going to be a hold.
Yeah, I was going to say Concordia. I agree. Good call. Good call, Mr. Official. 2:22. NAU ball. Score was 10-2 at the end of the first quarter. If you're just joining us, it's now 15-4. Right, so 5-2 here in the second quarter. I mean, that's just, if they can hold Concordia, if any of you can hold Concordia to 5 goals in this quarter, that's a win compared to giving up 10 in the first.
Well, yeah, and then they can walk in at halftime and say, look, it's getting better.
Yeah, that's a tough one right there. Nice play. Unfortunately, I don't have a number. That's Matranga, number 33. He's a big boy coming in at 6'2", 200 pounds. He's one of those Dana Hills graduates that we talked about.
Oh, it's hard to see that end line, isn't it?
You better work. Oh, that's a nice quick whistle right there. Mayo is on the receiving end of it. That's his 4th of the game.
Number 21. Mayo.
That's just being ready to play the quick whistle. You know, it's just a nice play right there.
You know, it used to be, you know, before the new rule, you know, you'd get a chance to breathe. Now it's more of the international type of rule. You know, whistle starts right away. You can't fall asleep. Goalie's got to stay at home.
Now and before, like on, you know, goalies used to be able to run the ball out, even though that wasn't a shot. But goalies used to be able to run it out, and they automatically got 5 seconds.
Exactly.
Now they don't.
That's exactly why you got to make a decision as a goalie. Do I stay at home or do I go?
Right. Because I remember, I don't know how long, 3-4 years ago, Virginia. When you played Virginia, you essentially told your goalie to run out every shot because they were so good off the quick whistle off the end line. But they couldn't get the quick whistle off the end line if your goalie ran out every shot. And that's why they essentially got rid of that that rule of allowing the goalies to do that. Now it's like, look, that's at your own risk, right? You got to make an educated decision on do you go or not, like you said. But it's just good. I like seeing teams like that know the rules, right? I mean, that's the IQ part of the game.
Well, I mean, if you're a run and gun type of team, the rules play in your favor now.
Sure. So Concordia is going to be on the man up here
Northern Arizona.
with 58 seconds to go in the second quarter. We're coming at you from La Costa Canyon High School here in San Diego. Great campus.
And the clouds are clearing. So
the clouds are clearing. The sun is nice and bright. And this is we were here in 2014. Last year we were at Chapman University, and then now we're back. And it looks like Concordia is going to run this clock out, or at least maybe not run it out, but it does look like it's, I see 5-on-5 out there, Coach. So it's 5-on-5.
The game site, I didn't.
Oh, no, here's our guy up top. I didn't see him up here. Here he is. Here's Matranga hiding on us. So 6-on-5. And it looks like Concordia might just let this clock run for the remainder of the quarter and do what they did right at the end of the first quarter, where they're going to, hold on to the ball and get possession where there won't be a face-off. And they'll go up, into halftime up 16-4. And there you go.
And there we go.
So 16-4, Concordia over NAU in our first semifinal game for the SLC Division II Conference Tournament. We'll take this halftime break, and we'll be right back. Make sure you don't go anywhere.
talking about all social media for anti-BNP. He's so dumb. Now he's on every social media app. The only thing he does is Snapchat. I got you. And then when you see after he got picked, that was the first question they asked. How did this feel league ball on? He was like, how do I talk about it? And then he actually got drafted. No, but it happened like pretty raw, right? Like it happened right before. And that was the first question they asked. Get it back. It was like, yep, that's it. Then I got drafted.
All right, welcome back to the SLC Division II semifinals, our first game of two. Concordia up 16-4 over NAU. It's been all Concordia from the start of the game to halftime here. Coach Pete, we talked about it a little bit at the break, and we love to fill everyone in kind of on our thoughts on, what do you do in this situation? You're Coach Adler, you're down 12.
Well, again,
right?
You've gotten here. You've had a good season. As we chatted about, this shouldn't define your season because you've had some good wins. Your kids have worked awful hard, and you're playing against the number 2 team in the nation.
Yep.
You're going to walk off this field with your head high, hopefully, and you're proud of your season. And you gave it everything you got. I mean, they're not rolling over. They're playing hard.
I'm hoping to see NAU come out with some fire in their belly. We saw Burrell at the end of that, during that second quarter. He was that spark plug. He made 5 saves in the second quarter. He held Concordia to 6 goals on 5 saves. That's not bad, considering that you gave up 10 in the first quarter and you only made 3 saves.
Sure, and on the other side of the field, if you're Concordia, look, you made the statement. I mean, there's no doubt you're going on to play tomorrow.
Right.
And then you've got, next week, you've got the national tournament. So the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to get guys hurt here. If you got guys who are physically iffy right now and nursing some injuries, maybe you give them a break. You sit them down and say, nice job for today, and we'll take it from here.
And there's Burrell with a nice save to start off, and I agree, right? Your health is the number one factor. We don't need anyone to get hurt. No one needs to get hurt. And you're already seeing some extra bodies on the man up for Concordia, even though they just got that nice shot off to start the quarter. But we're all even now. So Concordia does a good job defending the man down.
Nice.
Here's Mayo.
Step.
Mayo is not afraid. He's got 4 goals on the day, and we'll kind of let you know how he got here. Mayo's got 4. Bernade's got 4. Saavedra has 3. Romero has 2. They're the leading scorers for Concordia, and Belshin for NAU has 2. It was 10-2 at the end of the first quarter, 16-4 at the end of 2, and here we are into the third quarter. No face-off. Wow! It's a nice shot.
That could be the first goal of the day that I actually might fault the goalie for not making that save. Because that was a high-to-high.
He should have had it. But what do goalies love to do, Coach? What do goalies love to do? They love to dip. They love to dip. Right? Their first move is down. It's just like automatic. It's like one of the hardest things to get out of a goalie system. But I agree. If there's a save to be made that he probably should have had, that would probably be it. It was. I like seeing guys shoot the run from 10, 11 yards, and that was that. But maybe it needed a little bit more heat on it, right, compared to some of the other shots that we've seen today.
Right. You know, I mean, look, how do you fault him today? He's seen so many shots.
I know. You know, that's Matrango with his first goal. Here's a face-off win by Concordia, and they're just coming. Here's another one. Number 14.
Goal by
Safidra was his fourth of the day.
Safidra.
And as I thought Concordia might put on the brakes, they have 2 goals here in the first 53 seconds of the third quarter. So my comment was a little off. I would love to see, you know, some longer possessions from Concordia, maybe at least 40, 45. I'd just like to see them throw the ball around, everyone get a touch, maybe dodge, move the ball on, dodge again, you know, instead of just one dodge shot or one dodge pass shoot.
Right, and again, you know, like I said, they have more games to come this season, but I also think they're maybe trying to send a message nationally.
Yeah, maybe hey, we need the number 1 seed, right? They want that number 1 seed. I can see that. You know, Coach Brent, you know, on the side has actually talked to me a little bit about, you know, I asked him, you know, what is it like in Division II, you know, from top to bottom, and you know, during that conversation, he mentioned that it's hard to figure out like who's number 1. You know, you mentioned it; they're ranked 2, but they could be number 1 in the country.
Right. And again, you know, you don't know the other Division II leagues in the country in terms of like we talk about Division I a lot.
Right.
You know, who's the best league top to bottom in the country? Is it the SLC? Is it the RMLC? You know, I honestly couldn't tell you who's the top Division II league in the country. I got to think it's us.
I like to think so. Look, you know, Concordia was there last year in the national championship game playing Dayton, who was, I think, a 7 or 8 seed going into the tournament. They had a hell of a goaltender that kind of led the way for them to a championship. Great save. But, I mean, based on what I'm seeing right now, it's going to take some good lacrosse to beat Concordia.
I know there's some talented teams up in the upper Midwest, in some of the Minnesota
you got St. Thomas from out there in Minnesota. Dayton, obviously, you know, they won. I remember I called their quarterfinal game last year in the national tournament. It ended up being an overtime game. But the one thing that stood out, they had like 50 guys on the team.
Yeah.
You know, 50. You know, you look at that. There's Division I teams. You know, you look at the UNLVs. You look at, you know, a UCLA. I mean, there's Division I teams that don't have 25. You know, Stanford, who's a good program, they're right around 25. You know, here's Dayton with 50.
Right.
You know, so.
You know, the other thing that we haven't talked about also is the emergence of lacrosse at the NAIA level and seeing what's happening there.
Fully funded programs.
Exactly, and Concordia is an NAIA school.
Okay.
So, you know, who's to say they're not going to look and say, hey, you know what? We can also compete in the NAIA level.
Sure. We love to keep them here in the SLC conference.
Oh, you know, they're great for the conference.
Good hitch move right there. Defender did a good job staying with them. So, you know, we'll see what happens with Concordia from here on out. You know, if there's a team out there that can beat them, I want to watch that game. Because in my eyes, they're just going to come at you with so many bodies. They have good goaltender. You know.
Like I said, you know, they remind me a lot of Grand Canyon, just in the way they play.
Yeah. They're going to outscore you. Right now, NAU actually has 7 players on the field, and there has not been a call yet. I feel like screaming onto the field. I don't see a flag down. That's what I would see. There's no call. They still have their 7 guys out there, and we'll see if they end up going off sides or having too many. That's not kind of, they look at it too many, right? They count forwards and then go back, right? If you have 7 on the offensive end of the field.
And they haven't caught it.
But the NAU coaching staff did. So now they're good to go.
That was cheeky.
I have to talk to some of the officials in the hotel after today and let them know they missed one. And
it wasn't as though they were playing with an extra man for 10 seconds. That was a pretty extended
that was probably 30 seconds there. I mean, there was probably 3 shots that were taken.
And I'm surprised that nobody on the sideline was yelling and screaming from the Concordia side, count the players. So,
And that might be one of those, we're up 18-4. Let's not say anything.
right.
Pretty much lock this one up. So I think what we're going to see here in the second half is we're going to probably see a lot of 6-on-6 lacrosse, which will be good for us to kind of see what NAU has, right? See what Concordia has from their substitution standpoint. And hopefully see some good lacrosse here. There's Mastro.
Good shot.
Great save. Great save by Fernando.
And they're off to the races.
Right, but good. Way to slow it down. Romero puts his foot on the brakes. That was a great save by Fernando. I mean, he's an athletic goalie. He's from El Toro High School. He's a senior. Came into this game around 64%. He's given up 4 goals. He's got 4 saves, so he's a little bit below his percentage, but he looks like a guy that can make a good amount of saves when needed.
I am going to be really curious to see where the seeding shakes out in the national tournament for Concordia. I can't see them being anything less than a number 2 seed or a 3 seed, but again, you just never know.
They obviously won this one handily. They're going to win this one handily, and I think tomorrow, whether it's University of San Diego or Cal State Fullerton, depending on how that game goes.
There you go. That was Belchin again. Started the game.
Was that? Apologize for us maybe calling out the wrong name here, but these numbers are not easy to see. I think it's 30.
Is it 30 or 38?
I think it's Wilcox. I think Belchin's a lefty. We'll find out here when our announcer makes the call, and lets the fans know who scored that goal, because I'm sure if he calls out the wrong name, everybody's going to look back at him.
38, Jacob Belchin.
Oh, there you go.
So he went with Belchin.
My eyesight's not as bad as
Belchin
I
gets
thought.
his 3. I don't know. Am I the only one? I feel like I can't. I see number 24 here on the wing, but you get to the middle of the field and over. It's hard to see these numbers. Face-off win by Concordia, but that was a nice goal. And we were, before the goal was scored there, you were talking about the seed for Concordia, and I was just going to say, depending on how tomorrow goes, if they can if they win, obviously they got to win, but if they can win convincingly, that's going to make the selection committee really think about, are they a 1 or are they a 2?
And I'm really curious to see Fullerton play this afternoon, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've watched that program evolve. I remember, when we were at Claremont, we played them. I want to say it may have been the first game in the history of their program.
Oh, wow. What year was that?
That was probably 2006, 2007.
All right.
And maybe a little earlier than that. And watching how they've evolved, I mean, they've done a great job there.
Yeah, they've been in the national championship, or the conference championship game consistently for a number of years. I don't have the facts in front of me, but I know they've always been in that game. So, University of San Diego has a tough challenge this afternoon. So I'm looking forward to it as well. I know we had Fullerton play Concordia this year. I'm not exactly sure. I know obviously Concordia won that game. I don't know how that game went, but hopefully for everyone that tuned in, it was a great game to watch. And that's just a nice snag right there. Nice
no look away.
Yeah. Look away, no look, however you want to call it. Good job by the defense.
All right, NAU does a nice job there defensively.
Sure.
Play. Yeah, I mean, look, they're showing some signs of brilliance. I mean,
Hey, it's 2-1 right now in this quarter, and I always like to say, I always try to break the quarters down into 3 quarters, like win 5 minutes.
Right, and I do
every
the same
5
thing
minutes.
as a coach. I talk we go into the second half, it's 0-0.
Yeah,
and
win the first 5 minutes, then win the middle 5, win the bottom 5. If you can win every 5 minutes, so essentially you take a 4-quarter game, and turn it into a 12-quarter game, and if you can win all those quarters, you're going to win the game. So right now, I mean, they're down 2-1 here, right? Third quarter, 6:35 to go, but they're just down 2-1 in this quarter, right? You're not worried about, hey, are we going to? Yeah, compete. Compete. It's the name of the game. And they are. Right there. Great
nice
check.
check.
And there's Burrell coming out and helping out. I mean, there's nothing wrong with goalies coming out and doing that.
There you go.
Nice job.
AU ball.
I love that out of goaltenders. Love seeing it. You know, don't just sit there and stare at the ball, right? I always say join the party. Might not be the best way to say it, but players know what I'm talking about. That's a tough shot right there. Interference to look at the ball back. It's going to help Fernando's save percentage on that one. Now we got a flag down for something. Player conduct.
I think we call it delay game.
Delay game.
Threw the ball away, I believe.
So we're going to get a delay game. Concordia is going to go man down. NAU is man up. I like to think that we're going to probably see Mastro take a nice shot here. Or Belshon. Or Belshon.
Belshon's got the hot hand for them with 3 goals.
Here's Belshon. He's goalie's top left, starting with the ball. Right around that 30-yard line. We're 6 minutes to go here in the third quarter. It's our first of 2 SLC Division II semifinal games.
They're out in the 2-2-2. Now into a 2-3-1, as you call it.
Yeah, 2-3-1, counting from up top. Restrain line down to the end line. Here's a nice skip pass by Mastro, just off the mark, but do they have the backup? They do. So they'll maintain possession here. It's only a 30-second penalty, so it goes by pretty quickly, and Concordia stops them. So now we're all even, 6-on-6. But you know what? Not the end of the world for NAU. You know, if you have the ball, Concordia can't score, right? So that's the one positive you can always take out of it.
Again, you know, it's just the unforced errors. They're a bad pass,
right?
And giving the ball back to Concordia. But again, now they get a break.
They're going to get it back.
They get it back.
Here we are at the 5:03 mark, third quarter. Concordia over NAU. It was 10-2 Concordia after 1. 16-4 at halftime. And here we are at 18-5 here in the third quarter. Under 5 minutes. And there's Mastro. Nice look. That's a great look. Unfortunately, just wasn't handled. And here we are off to the races, which is Concordia's #1 offense. They love the transition game. That's a no-brainer.
Number 5.
Saavedra. Yeah.
Goal by number 14.
Second of the quarter.
Saavedra.
I mean, you're going to finish that one. You know, I'm sure Coach Brent, I'm assuming that he said, hey, let's kind of put our foot on the brakes a little bit and take our time here. But you're not.
Well, again, if you have those opportunities, you got to take them.
Of course.
You know, that's just being an athlete.
Yep. I agree.
You know, but they do a nice job on the transition, on the break. And again, I just think NAU is just, they're shooting themselves a lot of times, just unforced errors, bad passing.
Well, their offense, it's creating offense for Concordia, right?
Right.
And you can't do that.
Oh, this is a good check.
I used to joke around with some players and say, you know, when they would create offense for the other team, I ask them, which team you playing for? You playing for us, you playing for them? You know, they look at me pretty strange, like,
Yeah.
Coach, well, of course I'm playing for you, Coach. Well, on that last play, you weren't.
I mean, you know, we play teams like Chapman and Santa Barbara. You know, it's like, you know, you give the ball away.
Yeah.
Guys, it's tough enough.
Right. I mean, let's make them earn every goal. 3:45 to go here in the third quarter. Concordia's got some fresh bodies out there, taking their time. There's a good rip. There's that save. That's the one he should have had. Right, that's the one he should have had earlier. So Burrell wasn't going to dip his stick 2 times in a row there. I mean, Burrell's got 11 saves on the day. Just tells you how many shots he's seen. I mean, that's just on cage, it's 30 shots. You know, we haven't even finished the third quarter here yet. I mean, at the end of the day, he could end up seeing about 40 shots on goal. which means that they probably took over 50.
Well, they're not shy about shooting, I will say
No,
that.
no, they're not. Yeah, this is a great time to dodge.
There you go.
Wide open, no 2 slide, no 1 slide.
Again, I might have thought about maybe putting the ball in the left hand.
Yeah, better
Get
angle.
a better angle, but
Sure.
But he did a nice job on the alley dodge.
Essentially a little predictable on the shot placement, right?
Yeah.
And then not having the angle. That's the thing, there's a lot of players out there that think alley dodges are great dodges and gives you a great opportunity to score. It really doesn't. Alley dodges are, unless you're bringing heat, alley dodges, this is a great field because, when we played on a football field, we always told players shoot inside the hash marks.
Exactly. Well,
right?
On the alley dodge, every step you take, you're losing angle.
You're losing angle. Right, so I used to say it's almost better to shoot from 8 yards than it is from 4.
Yeah.
Right?
You're looking
Because you have more angle. So as that on the NAU last shot, as he got close to the goal, he actually lost angle.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
Because, again, I'm a big fan of sweeping, obviously, across the top.
Yeah, no question.
You're
more
keeping
options.
your shooting angle.
And more options.
For a much longer period of time.
Right. But I just like mentioning that because players need to understand, what's a quality shot and what's not.
Now, in terms of alley dodging, I think if you're in like in a 1-3-2 or 2-3-1, as you call it, and you alley dodge and you look for the rollback,
that's perfect.
Then it's perfect for that.
You're gonna have the defense on their heels. That's why you'll hear from the sidelines a lot. No rollbacks, no rollbacks.
Because then again, when you roll back, it's not so much the first pass off the rollback; it's the second pass for the time and room shot that's going to open up for you.
Right. It's a nice play right there by the NAU defender.
That's impressed me with Concordia is they're riding hard still. They're up 15 goals and they're still riding hard in the third quarter.
No, I'm sure Coach, has said, hey, we put you in. We expect you to do the things we practice, right? We expect you to do the things that we teach. And one thing that Coach Brent talked about in our pregame interview was the work ethic and the attitude. That's what they take a lot of pride in. We're going to outwork teams. So it doesn't matter who's on the field. He expects every one of those guys to outwork their opponent every single time.
The signs of great programs or great teams are, you do the little things right. You do the little things great, be it riding or clearing, the intangibles.
Right.
Wait, 3-5, illegal body check, 1 minute.
Because again, you don't want it sounds sort of cliche-ish, but you don't want to develop those bad habits. As you know, you've got better games coming up or bigger games coming up for you this season. The last thing you want to do is take your foot off. Take your foot off the gas in those little areas.
It's hard to get to where you want to be. It's easy to get away from the things that you do well. Right? That's when you know your team's playing really well, it's hard to stay there. Right? It's really easy to go backwards.
And I want to say this penalty is on the goalie.
It is on the goalie.
So
Fernando's going to get an illegal body check. Looks like we're going to get Romero, number 1. Looks like he's putting on the goalie gear right now. I don't know how much time you get, and you might know this.
Under the rule, well, I know that because I only played with one goalie this year, and we did have one situation where the goalie got a penalty. They give you what they call adequate time, a minute or so, a minute and a half.
Get a minute or so.
And then if you're not ready, then they ask you, do you want the timeout or lose possession of the ball?
Or delay a game, right?
Right, yeah. So, but they got him in fairly quickly. The joys of playing with one goalie, by the way.
Yeah, not easy. No, nobody wants to be in that situation.
NAU is going through it today.
Right. So here we go. NAU, there's a nice skip. Good ball move by NAU. They should get a shot right here.
Good shot.
I would like to just see him shoot it overhand. Just put it on cage. Here's a guy, Romero, who does not play goalie, who just stepped into the game, hasn't seen a shot. Just put it on cage. Thank you. Thank you, Mastro. Appreciate it, buddy. Nice overhand shot. So, take a little bit off of it. Work on more of the placement of the shot compared to the velocity.
And again, it comes down to make a goalie get technical, whether he's an experienced goalie or not an experienced goalie.
Puts it offside. Great placement on the shot. Good technique. He was due. He was due.
Look,
He's
Mastro,
had some shots today.
Look, I mean, he's a workhorse.
Yeah.
And the one thing with him is, and we saw it when we played against him, came the fourth quarter in our game. I mean, he was gassed. He was gassed because he doesn't see a whole lot of breaks.
No, he does a lot. Offense, defense, facing off. No question about it. 35 seconds to go here. Third quarter. Concordia up 26. And, we're going to get a flag down. I heard that one from up here. Yep, we're going to get push here. And this will probably be the third quarter in a row where Concordia will get the ball going to the next quarter.
And let's see if they hold on to the ball this time.
I expect them to.
If they don't score the goal.
Yeah, I expect them to hold on to it, which, I mean, we're going to see this 3 times in a row. You don't see it. You might see it 1 or 2 times a year. I just don't see it happen too much where a team's going to hold on to it at the end of the quarter. It happens, but this is going to be the third quarter in a row. I expect him to hold on to it. He's going to touch it in, and Bernade's going to.
I mean, they'll come out.
And if I'm NAU, I'll let them do it.
Pressure the ball. You never know. I mean, something can happen. But again, they got to watch the clock and make sure that ball's in the stick when the time runs down.
And he's going to hold it. There you go. There you go.
And there we go.
So here we are, end of the third quarter. Concordia 20, NAU 6. It's our first semifinal game of 2. Coming up roughly 45 minutes after this one ends, we'll have University of San Diego taking on Cal State Fullerton. All right, but we have one more quarter to play here, so we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
For safety purposes, can we have all the spectators stay in the stands, please? If you are on the field level, please return to the stands.
All right, welcome back. Concordia is handling this game extremely well, up 20-6. They're up 10-2 after the first quarter, up 16-4 at the end of 2, and 20-6 at the end of 3. They're going to start man up to start this fourth quarter. And it's actually nice to see NAU is competing a little bit more now than they did in the first half.
Look, as we talked about, they're competitors. They've had a good year. They want to go out on a high note in terms of feeling good about the way they played this game.
That's a nice pass right there. Bernade.
Goal by number 12, Matt Satowski.
That's his first of the game.
Yeah, Satowski. And that's his 55th of the year. And that's his first of the game.
That's interesting.
What's that tell you right there? And honestly, I don't know if we saw him much in the first half, but that was a nice look by Bernade.
That's the first we've called his name all day.
I know.
I'm not sure we saw him in the first half.
I don't think we did.
He was on the.
Maybe he didn't play. Maybe some inside things going on over there on Concordia that we didn't know about. But Satowski's got coming in this game 67 points. 67 points.
That's a career.
With Bernade's got 77 coming in this game. So, and then you got Mayo, right? Mayo's after this one ends, he's going to be close to 60 points on the year. So those are their 3 guys. Combined are over 200 points.
That's an amazing stat.
Wow. Right? So if you're going to beat Concordia, you better have a defense. And here's Mastro. Mastro's not going to stop playing.
No, he's a fighter.
And nobody has. I mean, that's the thing. That third quarter, right, is 4-2. Concordia won that quarter 4-2. Which I know they're slowing it down a little bit, but from an NAU standpoint, just nice.
They feel
nice
like they've
to
had
see.
a little bit of success.
And that's that behind the back pass that we're talking about, Coach.
Yeah.
Never practice it, just pull it out, and that's what happens. I would not be surprised if Coach Brent will either say something to that player or to Schaefer or not Schaefer, sorry, Roth. Maybe take him out.
That's my analogy, is kind of, pulling a club out of your golf bag that you don't use
Right,
very often.
right.
And kind of expecting a great result. It's not going to happen.
Just got to say a couple prayers before you do it.
Oh, you see me golf. It's a very religious experience.
Yeah, it is. It is. Good lift. I love the lift. Great lift by
about Concordia,
Andow.
if you notice, defensively they're pretty well disciplined. They didn't overslide. A lot of teams would have just gone, and
Sure.
he didn't need it, so they
He
didn't
didn't
go.
need it. He didn't need it. He wasn't beat. Oh, picks up the point, got a little high there. But no, I'm just a big fan of the lift check, right? Just play the bottom hand. Make your opponent take his bottom hand off his stick. Not much you can do with it. I mean, granted, I know you can shoot and pass with one hand. There just aren't a lot of guys that are good at it.
And you caught a break on that clearing pass again, being in the right place
Hey,
at
look
the
what I
right
found.
time.
$12:30 to go in this fourth quarter. It's been all Concordia. Give everyone the kind of the goal scorers here for Concordia. Mayow's having a great day. He has 4 goals on the day. Then you got Bernade is doing well. He has 4 goals. And then Saavedra actually has 5. He got 2 there in the third quarter. He has 5 goals. And Romero has 2. Those are your leading scorers for Concordia. And Belshin has 3.
That's an unfortunate
NAU.
play right there. I think that's a little bit of fatigue as well.
They're definitely getting tired. We're in the booth. It's nice and cool up here. But, I mean, like you said earlier, the clouds are going away or have gone away, and the sun's out. Turf's warm. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's the hot part of the day. NAU, they don't have 40 guys over on their sidelines. And Concordia likes to play up and down. And you've given up 21 goals here.
And you've played approximately, I would guess, 75-80% of your game has been playing defense.
No question.
So, yeah, I mean, it's going to take its toll physically, and
They're
are
gassed.
gassed. But again, and it looks, Concordia's really not taking their foot off the gas all that much. I mean, they're looking for better shot selection.
Look, Satowski's still out. He's out there. He has 54 goals in the year. He's on the field, right? Now, granted, you don't have Bernade and you don't have Mayo out there, but you still have guys, that can score goals. I mean, Miles has 12 goals in the year. He's out there. I mean, the middies, we've seen these guys essentially on the field all day. They're just going to run their offense.
And again, they've got a bigger picture to think about here. So, they want to make sure they're doing everything right.
You're actually going to get a keep it in call there. Good take by Miles. Shot clock still on.
NAU does a decent job
Oh,
defensively.
nice handle. Nice handle right there by Peterson.
And they've got numbers if they want it.
Wow. Hey,
That was a nice transition.
I was going to say,
That was a
hey,
great
Concordia,
transition.
you guys can play transition, so can we. Essery with the first goal of the quarter for NAU and the first goal of the game for himself. I remember watching this young man play during his high school days when I was living in Arizona. Good player, good attitude, great kid. That was a nice goal. It started off with a great snag right here by Peterson. Great catch, one-handed grab right up here by the midfield line, and then his defender overcommitted. He ran by him.
Good face-off.
Oh, he had one more right there.
Again,
One
now
more.
well, I'm saying if they can maintain possession of the ball, see if they can go out on a little run here.
Going to have a flag down. I don't know for what, but I see a flag down right on the bench side of around the 50-yard line. So we have 9:32 here to go in the fourth quarter. It's 21-7 Concordia. Guess you can say 3 touchdowns to 1. Our second game of the day is going to be between the University of San Diego taking on Cal State Fullerton. That game will start roughly 45 minutes after this one ends. So make sure you stay with us. Coach, do you know anything about those two teams?
We hadn't played San Diego in a number of years.
Oh, there you go. Satowski gets a second of the day.
And, Fulton and I, as we were chatting earlier, watching them grow, we played them a number of years ago. I had not seen either team play this year.
So we've had University of San Diego on the SLC Game of the Week twice. They played Long Beach once, and then actually we had them last weekend against Biola for the first round. They're a good team. I don't know much about Fullerton. Obviously, they've won their division, so they're the higher seed going into the game. So looking forward to seeing how they do. But I will say, San Diego has some good players.
Number 10,
Kennedy,
illegal body check.
I don't know if you know that name at all, but he was
illegal body check.
successful at the Division I level.
1 minute.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
as a Division I program, I thought they did fairly well. I was a little bit.
They almost beat us, and for people that don't know, I was the head coach at Arizona State for 6 years. They in 2000 and I want to say 13.
1 minute.
I think we beat them by 1 or 2 goals.
Well, interesting fact was, as I was saying earlier today, both San Diego and Claremont were Division II teams together. We both came up to Division I together. As the Division II team, we couldn't beat them. But when we went up to Division I, we never lost to them.
Right.
And I always found that interesting because our rosters really hadn't changed all that much in the first couple of years.
Well, I will say, one of the things I think about if I'm a Division II program, and here's a nice shot. If I'm a Division II program and I'm thinking about moving to Division I, you got to think about you're leaving a division that you were successful in, and maybe you're finishing in you're a top 10 team in Division II. You're always ranked. You're winning games. You're having a lot of success, and then all of a sudden you go up and you're not a top 10 team. Maybe you're a top 25 team. You're losing more games. You're going through a couple more rough patches than you're used to. Are you going to lose players because of that? Like, for instance, would Montana be in a different situation now if they just stayed in Division II?
That's an interesting question.
Because that's something I think about for those coaches that have to make that decision. Because kids, they're like, well, why am I going to come to practice every day, if I'm not seeing some sort of reward because of it? And a lot of kids look at winning as a reward, right?
I tend to agree with that, but also from our standpoint, I'll speak about Claremont. When we went up for the other reason, is we go to practice every day, and we're playing in division. At the time, it was called the B division in the WCLL.
Okay.
And the outcomes they thought would be the same whether they practiced every day or not, because they didn't feel like they had the competition.
Gotcha.
So again, every team is different. Philosophically, every team is different. All I will say is at Claremont, we went up because we seeked a greater challenge.
Sure.
And we wanted to play at a higher level.
right? And you accepted that challenge,
Right?
And you knew it. But that's the thing. We talked about it at Arizona State. Like, don't run away from your challenges. Accept your challenge. Face your challenges.
And again, with Claremont, I still believe we're the smallest team in MCLA Division I in the country in terms of enrollment.
Sure.
So
Sure.
our potential player pool is a lot lower than most. But again, we wear that as a badge of honor.
Right.
And we don't look at it as a hindrance. We say, well, okay, well,
turn it into a positive.
This is the life we live.
Something my first year at Arizona State, we finished the season with 29 players. And so I've coached teams that have had, as low as 29 guys. We probably as high as around 45, 46. And sometimes I look back during that year and go, man, sometimes like having 29 guys isn't that bad. Those guys get a lot of reps in practice. Your practices aren't as long, right? You don't have, you don't have to worry about, every player being disciplined on and off the field, as many players. The only thing that really hurts you is, if you get injured players, you're in trouble,
you don't have the depth. But again, I'm coming also off of an international game as well, where the international roster is only 23.
Right.
So
an MLL roster is 23. But I remember when I was playing the MLL, it was 20.
And there's a nice goal for
That is a nice goal. Number 4 again, Cody Essery. With his second of the quarter, second of the game.
4, Cody Essery.
I mean, there's pros and cons of a large roster versus a small roster. Sometimes with a small roster, especially at the club level, your kids tend to, buy in. Like everybody has a responsibility.
Sure. Everyone has a role.
Everybody has a role.
Yeah. No question about it.
I mean, I look at what UNLV did this year in Division I with a small roster.
Look, they beat Grand Canyon in 2014. That kept Grand Canyon out of the national tournament. They had the same size roster, 20 guys, 22 guys.
And I think this year UNLV played with around 18 guys.
Yeah, it was little couple players less this year.
Roughness, 1 minute. White, 8, unnecessary.
So we got NAU scoring their 8th goal of the game. Cody Essery with a nice shot, and it's going to be a man-up face-off. We're going to have a illegal body check.
I haven't looked at I don't remember looking at the scores for Concordia this year, but I'm not sure a lot of folks have put up more than 8 on them. So
let's check it out.
It'll be interesting to see.
Let's check it out. See what we'll come up with. We'll get back to everybody on that. Back to this game. 6:05 to go here in the fourth quarter of our first semifinal game.
Concordia takes a timeout.
Concordia's going to take a timeout. I think that's just, hey, let's all get on the same page here.
He must have heard me because we're trying to find some scores here. So
gives us time to do it. So this is, we'll get Concordia's page up here. But I also think it's because, the last 2 or 3 minutes there probably didn't go exactly the way Coach Brent wanted it to go. So
momentum shifts.
And he's getting some new guys in maybe. So, they played UCLA early on. They scored 8 goals. University of San Diego scored 9. Right? So just to let everyone know, University of San Diego will be in our second game. Lost to Concordia 14-9. I mean, that
might be
one
of
the
closer games of the year.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely. I mean, they. Let's see who we got here. Oh, there's one. It's Cal State Fullerton, who will be playing University of San Diego, put up 10. Right? That was a 14. We talked about that game earlier in the broadcast. 14-10 was Concordia beat Cal State Fullerton. So, if you've been with us this entire time, this game, right, this second game today should be a battle.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And then the championship game should be a battle.
Right. I agree. I'm
not saying that Concordia is not going to be the favorite, but it will be a battle.
Yeah, look, University of San, you don't like to judge everything on goals. But essentially that's all we have. So University of San Diego lost 14-9 to Concordia, where Cal State Fullerton lost 14-10.
Should be,
right?
Should be a really good ball.
And I don't know how those games went, but we can assume this second game today is going to be a fight. Should be back and forth. So here we go. We got Concordia's man down with an illegal body check. And NAU should get it here. Maybe goose it up the field. There you go.
Go, and they got numbers here too.
I don't know. I didn't see
that call.
Was a player came out of the box too early? Defender came out of the box too early.
That is unfortunate.
Well, you know what? He's probably anticipating his LSM picking that ball up the first time, right? And he bobbled it, and so there might have been a play on there. So Concordia will have the ball, their man down, and this is do you double team if you're NAU? I don't know. If I'm Coach Adler, I'm essentially right now when you come to double, right?
I think you open yourself up.
You do open yourself up. You're essentially telling Concordia to go to the goal.
I mean, you're conceding the man up basically, but you're not giving up that man down goal.
I don't mind one guy pressuring. Right now they essentially are just pressuring the ball and they're easing off on the adjacent passes. But it's funny, I've been in situations where we'll be winning and they'll come out and pressure. Right, a team will pressure. They may be down 8, 10, whatever it may be. There might be 3 minutes to go in the game, and then I'll tell our guys, well, if they're going to come out and pressure you, well, go to the goal.
Right.
And then I might get something at the end of the game like, hey, Chris, why'd you guys go to the goal? My comment is, why'd you come out and pressure my guys?
Well, that goes to always you have that coaching dilemma or that philosophical dilemma or ethical dilemma about how many goals do you put up. We can talk about the Simon Fraser Washington State game this year.
Right.
How many goals do you put up? When is it enough?
Yeah, and I'm always going to say, like, look, as a if you're playing defense, you can tell me right away if you want me to go to the goal or not by either pressuring me or not. If you want to sit back, we're not going to do anything. We'll take the air out of the ball. If you're going to come out and pressure the ball carrier and press out adjacent, what do you want me? What do you want our guys to do? Just sit there and take a beating?
I mean, again, as a coach, you say to opposing coaches or opposing, it's not my job to play your defense.
Right.
It's
right.
And at that point in time in the game, usually we're playing guys who don't see a whole lot of playing time.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's it's your 5th, 6th, 7th attackman, right? And so,
how do you tell a guy who's not seen the field a whole lot not to get a chance to go to the cage?
Right.
But I see both sides of it.
I do too. I do too.
I made a comment on Facebook after the Simon Fraser Washington State game about after 20 doesn't really matter. Because I can't tell you how many responses I got both ways.
I'm sure you did. You put out a comment like that, and especially in a game like that, right? I mean, I don't know. I can't remember what the final score was. But
it was
40-something.
45-0, I believe.
Was it 45-0? Yeah. So I mean, no matter what, all you probably had to say was Simon Fraser, and you're going to get a bunch of responses, right? But yeah, I mean that's that's always I don't believe there are many coaches out there that are looking to embarrass anybody.
No, I mean, look, we hope that everybody is a class act, and you realize very quickly in a game whether you're as on both ends, whether you're as a team that's losing a game, whether you're overmatched, right? And you accept that. And
like right now, right? NAU's down 15. I don't have any problem with Concordia doing what they're doing. They have new players in. Like you said, guys that haven't been out there much. I don't have any problem with them going. I mean, NAU's not going out and pressuring.
No, and I'll tell you what, teams would understand that. I mean, if I'm NAU, I'm saying, okay, look, I'd rather you play me 60 hard minutes than lay off. I think that's more embarrassing.
I agree.
As a team on the short end of that.
I agree.
Like, don't take mercy on me.
Right, play for 60 minutes. Yeah, play for 60. And we'll do the same thing as best as we can. Right? Good job. Yeah, see, they're going to call him for a push. That's fine.
That's okay, yeah. He had to do what he had to do there.
Right, 2:47 to go here in the fourth quarter.
I mean, you can discuss coaching ethics until it gets dark outside tonight. But again,
it's a good thing it's just you and I here with the headsets on. We don't have a third or fourth or fifth coach in this booth. Because like you said, we could talk about it all day. But I'm just saying I don't have any problem.
No, look.
Seeing what Concordia is doing right now, up 15. They're still shooting.
They're playing the game in a classy way.
Yeah, no question.
It's not any way demeaning.
Disrespectful.
Exactly.
Right, to the
That's
opponent.
a better word. Disrespectful.
Yeah.
And NAU is playing hard. I mean,
Yeah, here's Burrell. He's going to slide. Right. Every time he slid today, it's been a positive for NAU. Every time.
look, NAU's coming down with a break. They got some room here.
Stay on sides. Here we go. Coming up on the 2-minute mark. Once again, this is our first game of 2. We're going to see University of San Diego take on Cal State Fullerton. Roughly 45 minutes after this one. We'll probably open the broadcast about 10 minutes before that game starts with some pregame interviews from Coach Parr and Coach Ansel. So make sure you stay with us. Right, that's that. I would love to see an overhand shot there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and we're going to see a good one.
And again, all things being, when you sit back after this game and you assess your play today, if you're NAU, offensively they were not inept. They did a pretty good job putting up 8 goals here, maybe 9. And they're getting good chances.
We've said that from the start.
So it's not as though your offense has sputtered today and you didn't get your scoring chances. You're coming up against a good defensive team. And on the other side, Concordia's offense is just so potent.
Yeah, and they just dominated the face-offs, too.
And really, NAU
Possessions.
couldn't figure them out defensively. How to play them defensively to slow the game down.
Sure.
And again,
and you talked about a zone, right?
Talked about a zone.
Could have been an option.
Had NAU done a better job, and again, this is certainly no knock on Sean Mastro, a better job at the face-off X today, because he has had a great year at the face-off X.
Right.
He came up a little short today. The game could be different. I'm
Hey,
not
look,
saying NAU would win, but I'm saying but the game would be a little closer and a little more competitive.
It's a game of runs.
It's always
right?
a game of runs.
Yeah, exactly. And emotions has a lot to do with the runs. If maybe NAU comes out, 3-0 to start the game, who knows where we would be right now.
It can go either way. You can second guess yourself all day as a coach too. At the end of this game, should I have done this or that? But look, NAU is playing hard, right?
Yeah, this is a great hustle right now.
Game, and they're still playing. There's always, they're
Yep.
in it.
20 coming up with the 22nd mark. So Concordia will move on, and once again, that's going to be an interference call. They will take on the winner of the University of San Diego versus Cal State Fullerton, and that game will start.
Well, since this
roughly
game comes to a conclusion,
45
we remind you
minutes
to stay in the stands.
after this
The
one.
coaches will shake hands
So make
and
sure you
their
stay
way
with
over
us.
here.
We'll start that
Keep
broadcast
your
about 10
parties
minutes
behind
before
the
that
press
game
box
starts
here.
with some
We have
pregame
another game starting
interviews
immediately
with
after
Coach
this.
Ansel
We do
and
not
Coach
want
Parr.
children on the field.
But we've
So,
said it before.
twins,
Coach Pete
get back
and I
to
have said it.
the
We
center.
expect that game to be
How about a round of
close
applause
one.
for both teams? Great job.
So that concludes our
Congrats
first
to
game of the
both
day.
Successful season.
Concordia is moving on.
Concordia will move on tomorrow to the
23-8
championship.
victory
Right here.
over NAU, and good chance this was NAU's last game, and want to congratulate them on a good year. They might have just ended their season against the best team in the country.
Yeah, and look, again, you hold your head up because you have nothing to hang your head down about.
Right.
As we talked about earlier, this game does not define your season.
No.
Unfortunately, someone's got to win a game and someone's got to lose a game to move on. So,
Right.
they should be proud of the way they played.
Exactly, and I agree. And so, with that, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Like I said, we're going to start this one 45. The next game starts 45 minutes. We will start our broadcast 10 minutes before that game starts. So, once again, thanks for tuning in, and don't go anywhere. Or actually grab a bite to eat. Whatever you need to do, hydrate, and come back to us in about 35 minutes.
I need to serve.